let's call the meeting to order. Let's start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, well, first item on the agenda is get sworn in as special bay constables. So we have the town clerk, Sunday Shermeyer, here to do that.
If you could all rise up, please. Raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Scott Harris,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Dongan Patent
that I will support the Dongan Patent
established in 1686
established in 1686
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations
for the management and products
for the management and products
of the waters of the town of Southampton,
of the waters of the town of Southampton,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of trustee of the freeholders and commonality of the town of Southampton,
of trustee of the freeholders of the commonality of the town of Southampton,
and special bay constable
and special bay constable
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Okay, congratulations.
Thanks, Andy.
And I'm going to do some quick signing,
Quick signing.
and it'll be official.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for your time.
All right, so let's start with the president.
Okay.
Yes.
Jim.
Excellent.
Okay.
Bill Pope.
Oh, okay. I'm familiar with it.
I got it. Do I gotta use the official pen?
Yes, he's right.
The official pen?
It's just a better ink. We want it to
Archival.
last for
This is
all
a high-
time.
Archival ink.
This is high class ink we got over here.
Hi.
This is
Yes, okay, right here.
right here.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sunday.
Congratulations, all of you.
Thank you, Sunday.
Just
Carry
as,
on.
great. And just as a quick aside, I'd like to introduce our new town attorney, Rich.
Hey, everybody.
And he's going to explain a little bit about why we are sworn in as special bay constables.
Does everyone know why you're sworn in as Special Bay Constables?
We're going to,
Since you as the trustees are sworn to uphold the rules and regulations for the management and product of town waters as explained, as stated before by our town clerk, this allows you to do that. Realistically, the most important part of that is if you are out on the streets, on the beaches, and the places that you are charged with protecting, and you see a violation, you can actually swear an affidavit that would allow for prosecution of any violations that you notice. That would realistically be handled by the constables, but as a special bay constable, you'd have the power to put that together.
And we're given badges so that we're recognized by the public too, correct?
That is correct. I believe you do have badges. Everyone?
We have trustee.
Right.
Okay. Use them properly.
All right.
well, thanks a lot. Okay, and we have our two bay constables here, Al Tizzulo and Rich Franks, who wanted to talk to us about some matters about,
President Schultz, did you want me to take roll call?
oh, yes, okay.
I'll sign in
First-
while you do that.
First all, roll call.
President Schultz,
Here.
Secretary Treasurer Welker,
Here.
Trustee Warner,
Here.
Trustee Pell,
Present.
Trustee Horowitz.
Here.
Sir, we have a quorum present this afternoon.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Okay, let's skip it and let them make their presentation right now.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you, Rich.
No problem. I sent over an email early in the week just requesting some more buoys that we needed to order. This helps us keep our navigation, all our navigational aids up to speed, the waterway safe for the public to use. And we needed some labels, a few more speed buoys. I had sent over another one where I did have some correspondence back for the 4x8 corrugated 5-mile-an-hour speed signs and the reflective numbers and letters. I don't know if you got the email or anybody.
Yes.
Everybody should be on the email. It's estimated around $6,000. Half a dozen red, half a dozen green, just to keep everything up to speed. Half a dozen more 5-mile-an-hour speed buoys, the labels, and then all the reflective. Orange, green, red, stuff like that. Last year, we spent almost about 10 grand. This year, we're down to about 6. Last year, we hauled our maintenance barge out, spent about 5,500 to keep that up and running, and now that's at top notch. It's already hauled out. It's on dry dock for now. And I think last year we got pretty much around the same, a dozen, actually a little bit more speed buoys, only because we really didn't have much stock and have many in. Plus, we added a lot of additional speed buoys anytime we had a complaint or anything like that, or a certain area where residents were, we would up the enforcement in that area, plus we would add additional speed buoys, so.
Good.
We have about 130 nav aids total, and about 45 speed signs throughout the whole town, so. All right.
I'd like to comment on
Yeah.
the speed buoys. They
Yeah.
work very well. People seem to recognize them better sometimes in the signs. You can actually put them a little closer to the channel. I know in front of Jackson's Marina in that area where there's extremely high volume of boat traffic
Yeah.
and a lot of wakes and stuff like that, it really did help last summer, and also in front of Oakland's. The one buoy that's placed in front of Oakland's, I like to recommend that you guys use a much heavier anchor next season, because
Yeah, this year we used 150.
yeah.
I might have to double it up only
It did
because,
actually drift out the inlet, but
yeah.
I think that was because of the tug hitting it or some of the pipes. It wasn't because it broke loose, but
Right.
it's a pretty tough
same
place
thing
to-
happened to the speed sign in the East Channel. The dredge, when they were pumping the sand, hooked up to it and broke the pilings in the East Channel.
Okay.
They're 6x6 by 16
Yeah.
Greenheart, so they're a lot of money a piece. So we're gonna try to figure out something a little different for that area. We started toying with making the black modular flotation, making a metal frame, putting those together, and then building a frame on that with a 5-mile-an-hour speed sign where you can anchor it off in 4 points. Which is
Yeah.
a little bit more cost effective. It's not as much as the Greenheart poles.
Yeah.
And if it breaks free, we can always grab it. It's not something where you won't be able to utilize
Well,
it.
it's also safer for people navigating. If
Sure.
someone runs into that,
Mhm.
the
Right.
big sign, it's going to be a problem. Even
Right.
if someone ran into it in Jackson's and
Yes.
it completely disappeared, which I
We still can't find it.
still can't find.
But
Thank you very
anything
much
else,
for-
so you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
are-
Thanks, Rich. Well, you have some loss every year, but that's a good,
Yeah, so it's
good
only
thing having that replacement
yes,
program.
and it's only
'cause
about a
lot of
half a
them-
dozen.
yeah.
We still have the old paper mache style ones that we, when we can
Gradually replace
fiberglass.
those, yeah.
And we're just trying to, go through the motions and
Weed them out.
and weed them out.
Right.
And then I also sent an email to the solar light company, because we have two different style solar lights. One's a little bit more low profile, one's a little bit more higher end. So the one big buoy set that we have has a handle, so those little low profile ones fit inside there. So I'm just waiting to see what those cost. A couple things, chain, shackles, roughly $1,800 for the chain and the shackles. 3H chain, 3H shackles, stuff like that. So.
Yeah, in extreme
know.
conditions there
All
all
right.
the time.
But it's
Yeah,
all
so-
stuff you need before the season. so-
Yeah, and we do the procurement policy, everything's right through that, so we go right with Amazon, seems to be the cheapest,
Okay.
and everything holds up, so.
Okay,
All
so
right.
you have all the facts and figures we can put on.
Yeah,
for
I
resolution
sent
at the next
everything,
meeting?
I sent everything to Brandy, she has everything.
Okay.
Right, and
So-
we were kind of looking forward to, when we talked about the budget for 2020, I think we built some of this.
Yeah,
into
this
it.
way we had, to backfill and be able to
Yeah.
get what we need to
Great.
get, so.
It's super important. I mean, I watch these people come by the fuel dock sometimes where boats are trying to tie up, they're tied up and they're trying to fuel and they get rocked pretty bad. It's
Right.
It's really a bad
Yeah, we
thing.
put a half a dozen, and they seem to help out.
Yeah.
Plus, they added enforcement too,
Yeah,
so,
it's really important.
all
We
right?
can
Great.
also provide speed signs. We've had provided them to Oakland's. They put them up. If any of the other fuel docks in the area would like a 4x6 sign, we could provide that.
Sure.
They put up, it gets it up high.
Yeah.
And the new corrugated ones hold up good from Fisher Signs.
Yeah.
They're 4x8, and we test them for a whole year so far, one on the east side of the inlet and one on the west side, and they held up fantastic. So,
Great.
Excellent.
we're gonna try to just fit that in, because this way it just takes away from guys hand painting a sign like they
Yes.
used to years back, you know?
Yeah, that's
So,
good.
all right?
Yep.
Great.
Great.
You got it.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Rich.
No problem.
Did you have anything to bring up, Al? Okay.
Yeah.
Our Senior Bay Constable, Al Tazzulo.
Sign in.
Sign in.
State your name for the record, Al, please.
Al Tizzolo, Senior Bay Constable, Southampton Town. Yeah, I know. I just first want to congratulate the members of the board for another couple of years of service. We look forward to working side by side as in the past. I'd like to thank the members of the board for the last 4 or 5 years. We've gotten tremendous support from the board. We've got the equipment that we need to keep marine maintenance and the Bay Constables functioning. And we're here for anything that you may need us for. Please don't hesitate to give a call. We always have our phones, and we'll do the best to get the jobs done as fast as we can.
Yeah, right.
All right?
Thank you.
So
Thank you
Thank
for
you
doing
and
a
good
good
Thanks
luck.
for coming.
Thank you guys
Yeah.
for doing a good job.
Yeah,
Who's
Any help you
handling
need,
the
just let us know.
Who's handling liaisonship for the constables and the marine maintenance now? I mean, I was liaison to the constables.
that later, but we've worked it out. You were gonna be liaison.
To the constables?
But we have to bring it up.
Oh, okay, all right, I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, guys, have a good day.
All right,
All right,
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming in.
Okay. So the next trustee meeting is the regular work session is on January 22nd, 2020 at 3 PM in this room, lower conference room. And the next regularly scheduled meeting is January 27th, 2020 at 1 PM in this same room. So, want to accept the minutes of the organizational meeting of January 6th, 2020 at 1 PM. I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Just
Okay.
question. There was, and it may have been remedied by now, but there was at one point difficulty with the video of that meeting. Is that fixed now? Is it up and
I
running?
believe it is, yes. Right,
Thank you.
Paige?
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Have you been reading the communications, or just noting them?
Former President Warner used to waive the reading of the
Okay,
communications.
I'll waive the readings of the communications.
And then
Second.
you need a second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we had the discussions of the navigational aids. Next is trustees' liaison assignments. Trustee Horowitz had requested to stay on as liaison to the Bay Constables. Is everybody,
I'm
I don't
fine with
think we
that.
need a resolution for that, if it's the sense of the board.
That's fine with me.
That's
I've
fine.
been doing that for as
Good.
long as I've been here.
Okay.
And I'd like to do maintenance and
And
pump
trustee
out boats.
Pell would like to do the maintenance and the pump-out boats. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we'll go into the public portion, leave the executive session for the end. Okay, so the first one up is Resolution 2020-8. It's been discussed at the work session last Wednesday. It's a general permit for Brian Lascazio Esquire, Adam Miller Group, and located at 37 Glover Street, Village of Sag Harbor. Was there any additional comments on that? If so, then I'll make a resolution to pass this.
Second.
All in favor?
Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Trustee, oops.
Yeah, you're next. Yeah.
Trustee Resolution 2020-9, this is an application for Brian Coyle 27 Pearson Road, Flanders, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-147-2-26. Body of water is Reeves Bay. This is for the construction of a 55-foot catwalk leading to, with a ladder at the seaward end. Just a note, there is a special condition that will be applied to this, that no boat shall be docked at the outer terminus of the dock. We discussed it extensively at work session. I'd like to recommend its approval.
Is that with a 10-foot
Well, yeah,
beam?
no, no, I think it,
You put it in already, sorry.
no, it's with a
A
boat that has a
boat-
maximum of
Oh, oh, oh.
10
Yes,
feet
maximum.
width.
Or smaller?
Maximum 10 feet beam, it's in
Yeah.
there.
Sorry,
I
great.
can have a
believe
boat, it just
that
can't be
was the
greater than 10
discussion, and we
Can you-
agreed
can
on.
you reread it to make sure it's right in the minutes?
Sure. So there is a special condition that says a boat with a maximum 10-foot beam or smaller shall be allowed to be docked at the structure.
So there is no condition about a boat being docked at the outside of it,
Right.
correct? I just recommend, you can take out the words "or smaller."
can you fix that one?
Yeah.
You can take out the words "or smaller" if you
What was
wish. Surplusage.
It's
Maximum 10-foot
Yeah.
beam.
Yep,
not.
Okay, so
Motion to amend, Dan?
motion to amend?
I'll second that.
All in
And
favor?
Aye.
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 Now on the underlying resolution to adopt.
That's 2020-9. You
Yep.
would make a
So-
motion to adopt it.
I'll second
motion-
that.
Motion to adopt.
I'll
Thank you,
second
Ed.
that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Trustee resolution 2020-10, application of 7 Bayberry LLC, 7 Bayberry Cove Lane, Southampton, Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-272-1-38.4, body of water, Middle Pond. It's special condition on this permit. Normally, we only allow a 6x20 float. The applicant is asking for a 10x20 float for a handicap dock, which will go with the handicapped person of the property. Once it is sold or the handicapped person is no longer there, it would have to be revert back to a standard 6x20 float. We went over this at work session. Discussed it with our attorney. Everything seems to be good, so I recommend its approval. I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Trustee resolution 2020-11. Renew application for the first time for Julie M. Bernard Trust, 248 Tad Point Road, Southampton, New York, tax map 900-59-1-29, body of water is North Sea. Nothing has changed, and I'd like to pass this through.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee resolution 2020-12. New application, first time for 178 Ballard Street LLC, 178 Ballard Street Watermill, tax map 0900-178-1-18.2, body of water is Jules Pond, nothing has changed on that. Like to pass through.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, trustees resolution 2020-13. This is warrant number 1 this year of the trustees. As per the recommendation reviewed by the town controller, following vendor payment warrant dated be approved in the amount of $92,406.08. In addition, one manual check in the amount of $2,744.66 is paid to the town of Southampton, receiver of taxes, on the 10th of January 2020. So be it further resolved that the town controller is directed to approve and execute all bank wire transfers required to fund payments associated with warrant 1, 2020. I make the motion.
Hold it.
What?
You should read them.
You want to read it?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
All service electric, $7,594.54.
That was for the Ford Pond project.
Yes.
We're putting electric there so that we can use, run ice heaters.
Right.
Bridgehampton National Bank, $1,038.76. Law offices of Con and Con, $13,058.51.
That's for outside litigation.
Yes. call ahead. That's for the porta potties at the Marine Maintenance Building, $36. Cornell Cooperative Extension, $61,900. That represents 2019 and 2020 for the seating.
That's for the seating.
It was some
for
type of
raising
a,
clams.
well, for 2 years.
Right.
Lisa T. Dunlap, $40.60. I had to drive legal documents up to the western part of the island and make several trips back and forth to town hall, so I asked for a mileage reimbursement for that.
Okay.
Fisher Signs and Shirts, $210. Joseph R. Lombardo, $7,000. Newsday, $888. That was for the legal ad placement for 5 consecutive days for the Round Dune public hearing. Riverhead Building Supply, $13.95. Staples, $133.82. Town of Southampton, $28.35, and WB Mason and Company, $463.55, representing a total of $92,406.08, and the manual check for $2,744.66 for the taxes.
Is there any questions on the motion?
No, I'm good with it.
I'm fine.
I'll make a motion to be approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that concludes the business for the first meeting of the year. So I'd like to make a motion to close.
Just before we
I got a
do
couple
that,
Oh, okay.
We're going to executive session?
We're gonna
it
go
was
into
in a
executive
sec-
session
just
after
in a
this. Okay,
second,
go ahead.
I mean, I got a couple things I just wanted to speak to the board about that I've been working on for some time. First was obviously the tax line issue. I'm working on now trying to coordinate a meeting with the state assemblyman and the state senator, and perhaps some representation from the town board. I had a discussion with Assemblyman Thiel this morning. I'd like to get one other trustee to perhaps attend the meeting with me, so we don't have an issue. So
Okay.
we could work out the scheduling, so if you guys could figure out who wants to do that. But
Okay.
we need to get this going. That's number one, so I want to continue to work on that. The second thing is on the subject of the maintenance, and it segues into the maintenance, is that we were working on this situation that we have where the trustee roads finances is kind of at a point where we need to address that. And I have a group from the community that wants to also work with us on trying to find a good solution where we can continue to either, maintain these roads to a safe standard or figure out what to do with them. So if somebody wants to work with me on that, that would be great. I'm waiting for someone to come back from vacation so we could schedule a meeting.
I'll work with that on you, because
Would you do that?
I've started that out many years ago, and, it's something that, a lot of the roads are in my area, so, well, the biggest one is Canoe Place Road, so.
My concern is that, that if we don't get a handle on this now, with the constant call for upkeep and maintenance and how greatly that it affects public safety, that it will start eroding the regular budget of the trustees.
Right.
That's not appropriate. So when you have people that have stepped forward that want to come out from the community, that have a vested interest in it, obviously it affects their property values, it affects their mortgages, affects their safety, that want to help the trustees, I think we should embrace that and work with them. So.
Yes. I spoke with the supervisor this morning, and we were talking about that issue, and he's very keen on straightening this out.
Okay, so
Okay.
obviously we're going to involve the supervisor.
Mhm.
These are all heavy lift issues that require everybody in the building to work together.
Because the supervisor's office gets as many calls as we do, and has to explain all the time
Correct.
that they're totally separate roads and
And they're
everything.
collecting a lot of the tax revenue from
Mhm.
those homes that are, as you saw, they're quite substantial homes, a lot of them.
Right.
All right, so I just wanted the board to get up to speed on things that I've been working on, that I want to continue to work on, because I think they're of paramount
Yeah,
importance. So.
great. Well, you were bringing the tax line to light, so I think that's appropriate that you continue on that, yes.
Okay, and then figure out who wants to make that meeting with me, whoever can do it, and we'll talk about scheduling
Okay.
from there, okay? That's all.
I just had a couple things. Ed, did you maybe want to just give us an update on the express sessions the other day, on Friday?
Sure. I was on the panel for Joe Shaw's, the Express News Group, discussing the troubled waters in Agawam. There was many different discussions about it, from dredging to buffers to septic to runoff, just discussing and trying to figure out where all the problems have come about as far as Agawam. Some of the discussion was about dredging and utilizing our property on the south end of Agawam for a deposition area, a temporary storage area for geo tubes with the material in them. I did have a quick conversation with Gary Gillespie at the village, saying the board would be in favor of maybe having that utilized, but we need to come up with a plan as far as having it cleaned up and moving forward on that project. He said he was going to, have a discussion, and I think that's going to be an ongoing discussion. I think that dredging project, if it happens, will probably be 2 years out. But what my thought was that why couldn't we actually do the dredging and do open ocean discharge in January, February, in the winter months when everything is pretty much, quiet there. The ocean beaches are not very much used. Any of the blue-green algae or any of the other stuff that's in the the sediment would be dormant at that time, and we could just pump it into the ocean, and once it hits the salt water, it would pretty much dissipate and die because of the salinity change. I'm going to make a couple calls to the DEC and see what their philosophy is about the open water discharge. The last time they were doing dredging in Tiana Bay back in the 70s and 80s, they dredged a very large area on the northern part of Tiana Bay, basically pumped it across the bay to the ocean, and basically all that material went into the ocean. So it was a practice that was readily used for decades. I'm going to see if it can be revisited, and maybe with the governor's blessing, it could move forward in that direction, because you could literally get the project done in one season and save literally millions of dollars, and alleviate a huge headache for
And do it all
everybody.
at once, too.
Yes.
Has that been done besides, has it been done more recently, Ed?
That was that was the last project that I know that where organic, silty organic sediment was pumped in the ocean. Prior to that, any dredging project along the intercoastal waterway from basically Ponquag to Murch's Bay was directly discharged in the ocean. We are in great need of dredging now. So, I mean, the 80s and 90s seem a long time ago, but in the scheme of things, the ocean is very, quiet. The beaches are very quiet. The material literally just vanishes in a couple days, with the littoral drift. So, and, we have to do sediment analysis and all of that stuff to make sure there's no other harmful material in there. But once that's done, I think we could have a good handle on, see where the best, place to place this material. Chris Gobler actually said to dry it and stockpile it in farm fields. It's, the smell and all the other issues that come along with this would be unconscionable, and especially around the village in the summer months. So I don't think it's something that we're going to look forward to doing like that.
Right.
So,
I'm trying to remember, sorry.
go
I'm
ahead.
trying to remember, I know that there was at least one sediment test done by
Yeah.
Chick Forey's
Yes.
within the past couple months, and they didn't come up with anything that was, that didn't reveal anything.
It was only a little
Every
elevated lead reading. Other than that, there was nothing alarming.
Right.
But they need to do, when you do these dredging projects, you need to do more of a comprehensive sampling. So, I mean,
It's a process.
I'm willing to work on it. I told Jesse Warren and everybody on the panel, I said I would, have the conversation with the DEC, and which I'm planning on doing, furthering that conversation. I think it would be, if, it's a template for other future ponds and lakes, because there are other places where sediment has built up in very deep layers. I mean, I think Little Fresh Pond is another one. I don't know if dredging would work there, but I think the sediment and the basically the
Same
amount
thing
of
in
Mill Pond, the nutrient budget in these sediments have gotten to the point now where every year, since the water gets warm enough, you get these excessive algae blooms.
Right.
So I think we have to look to alternative solutions.
And Dr. Young is coming on
Yes.
Thursday.
I think Eric has
Yes.
scheduled,
Yeah,
You wanna-
well, what I did was I arranged, is that instead of us driving all our individual cars and following the caravan, I got the town supervisor's office to get us a minibus. So Marty Shea and Janice Shearer has been invited, as well as new Councilman Martell, to bring him up to speed on coastal issues. And James Duryea is going to accompany us there. We're going to all meet at Jackson Avenue, so we'll go around and if we have any questions for Dr. Young, we can ask him everybody will be present as we're driving down the road.
Okay.
This
So
is-
that,
9 o'clock at Jackson Avenue, that'll be a special meeting.
that's where we sign in
I'll be
then
sending
for
out
Sep-
a confirming email.
Okay.
I also reached out to Bridget Fleming's office to see if she could send a representative. They're going to get back to me. And then I'll send out the itinerary. I'm going to have to take attendance since it is a special
Right.
meeting of the board. So I'll probably meet you all there, take attendance, and then you guys will be
should
on.
we have one of our
Yeah.
secretaries tag along to take notes?
Yes.
Okay, I think
I
that's.
don't know who that's going to be, Ed. We're very limited.
Do that, we'll
We have
record the
no.
whole thing.
Okay,
How's
we,
that?
or
What's
James
that?
can
We
do
can
it.
record
You can
it, and
record
you
it.
can view it
do
at your
basic
leisure.
notes, James?
Well, Dr. Young's going to be providing us a report, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I think James
So-
will, yeah, but I like to have notes from our office so
Yeah.
I
That's
can,
fine.
I can look back at.
James, you're coming? You're
Yes.
taking notes?
Well, just
Okay.
for the public's information, Dr. Young is a globally recognized coastal erosion expert from Duke University, and he's going to advise us on some of the issues that we face in the town. So we all come up, so I invited the other parties involved with coastal management to accompany us, so we're all on the same page.
He's the director for the study of developed shorelines.
Right.
Yep, and he also
Center for-
walked these beaches right after Sandy, so he's
Right.
familiar. We've had him up here a couple times
Yeah.
doing site visits on specific issues that we were dealing with. So I think it's good for him to come back and revisit it and see where we are today.
Yes. And also to discuss the dumping of the sediments out into the ocean. We've done something similar in Carter Creek in East Quogue, where we took the sediments out in the dredging project and put it along the shoreline further up, and within 2 days it was clean white sand. So it really dissipates rapidly.
Right, I think we-
That was about 5-6 years
Yeah,
ago.
we did that when I first got on the board. We
Yep.
put it to cover up the bunch of
The
rocks and stuff that
all
were there.
all the
But I think-
riprap that was there, yes.
Yep.
I think we had to show them it was pretty compatible to what was there though when we did that, so I'm not so sure. It's just-
Well, it was pretty black and off. It
Yeah.
was soupy, and but it cleaned up real fast.
Yeah, and material like that is very good to plant, grasses and stuff, because it does have some organics in it, and it allows, for the stuff to take root quickly, and it doesn't need excessive watering. So
Well,
projects like that, like, again, thinking out of the box is a good way to go.
I've done that many times. We used the dredge spoils to
Phil.
fill it in and
Yeah.
plant
Eric,
some
I
nice
do have
stuff.
a couple other things.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did have a conversation with Sam Rispoli. He's one of the baymen. He was in West Neck and some of the other creeks looking for scallops. He says there's virtually no recruitment of juvenile scallops, and the scallops that were in there were very, very minimal at best. He said the water quality was very good. He did not see much recruitment. So I just wanted to update the board because I know Billy had some questions about the scallop population. So basically, Sam told me from Jessup's Neck west, there's virtually no juvenile bug scallops in the system.
What about Cold Spring?
He said there was very few scallops. He said literally like a dozen or so.
No bugs?
We had placed the bugs in there from Cornell, but where they dredge and where the bugs were placed were two different spots. I think the majority of the scallops that were harvested from Cold Springs this year by the local residents were scallops that we placed in there from Cornell last year. I did talk to Eddie White. He said that one of the little ponds that we had put seed in a couple years ago, Tom's Pond
Yeah.
in National, has a very large set of juvenile hard clams in there this year. He said he feels that they directly came from the clams that we put in there because all the set are Natata clams similar to the ones that we put in there. So his recommendation in future would be put, a tote or a half a tote of juvenile hard clams in there because it's a kind of a unique area. It has had scallops in it when there were no scallops literally in no place else, and the state waters or anywhere else. So
Right.
it's one of these places that it's kind of like off the radar as far as algae blooms and issues that, you know, have been plaguing the scallop industry.
There's no scallops in there.
He said there was virtually none in there this year. One other thing that I'm going to start working on is something that East Hampton Town Trustees do. They put these kayak and paddleboard racks around road ends and properties they own throughout the town. I'm going to get estimates as far as building these racks, sites where we can put these racks and put together a proposal and present it to the board. I think it's great for public access, and it allows people to put their, you know, they don't need a very large vehicle to put their.
Just keep it there.
Just keep it there. It will enhance the use of the local waterways. So I'm going to work on that.
Right, I'll help you with that.
So I think it's a really good project.
Great.
It is.
Great.
We should do Ag 1 together, because it's half in your area, half in my area.
Sure.
Betty, on the subject of the commercial, we were talking at the work session about getting a sticker for the commercial boats.
Yes.
Are we doing that?
I
Are we gonna issue
think-
The
that?
problem is staffing right now, if I may interject. I mean,
Well,
we
we
lost two full-time, two counter staff people. So it's
can't-
implementing that program
That's
and
what we're
adding
gonna be
another.
discussing.
We can't just print the
Executive
sticker to give to them for,
Well, it's not that simple. I mean, it's got to
Well-
be input into
Well-
govern. It has to be a
Well-
module created for it.
Let's discuss why we need this sticker.
I will, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
It was brought to my my knowledge not last summer, the summer before. There was many guys in Shinnecock Bay clamming. Some of the people were alleging that they weren't from the town. I don't know. I used to know every one of the baymen. I no longer know every one of the baymen. So some of the baymen that were out there on a regular basis felt that it would be similar to what they did in Brookhaven and West Islip, and they actually have a placard that they put on their boat
Sticker.
with a number. Yeah, it used to be a plastic placard, but it's a sticker now, similar to what the DEC does for the commercial fisheries. You have the sticker, you put it on your boat, it recognizes your food fish number and that you're a state resident. So some of the baymen would like it to recognize the digger's number and that he's a town resident harvesting
So
clams.
the
and
DEC only gives you a sticker for fin fish? They don't give it to you for
finfish.
shellfish?
No, not for shellfish.
No.
and we're restricting it to residents of our
Because
town.
we
Right,
own,
right.
but
So-
I
It's a good
think
idea.
I personally think it's a very good idea,
Yeah.
because all the bay constable will have to do is drive by the boat, see the sticker, like you put it on a specific side of the boat,
Right.
right next to your registration. And when the boat is out of the water or going to be launched, you can go over and see the sticker, just like a bumper sticker that we use for the launching ramp
then
and
the
the
And if the
Maybe.
guy has multiple boats, the first sticker might be free, the next one might be just $5 or something.
All right,
Yeah.
well, let me discuss it with Lisa and the staffing and
Yes.
everything like that. We'll come up with a discussion on the next meeting and see what the feasibility of it is.
Thank you.
Okay? How we can work this into the additional stuff, things to do for the staff. I'm sure we can come to some logical end to this.
Yes,
Okay?
that's it.
Can I just mention one thing before we conclude? Saturday, this past Saturday, at the Southampton Arts Center, the old Parish Art Museum, there was an event titled Drawdown. It was a film forum in which the film 2040 was shown. It's a film that has not yet been released in the United States, but it's from Australia, and it's all about things that can be done to help as individuals, things we can do to help work against the effects of climate change. It's being shown on Friday evening, again at the Southampton Arts Center at 7 p.m., and it's free, and it would be this Friday, 17th.
What
So
time is
just
that
at
again?
7 p.m. It's called 2040.
Okay.
And it's a positive, optimistic, hopeful film about climate change, which is always good,
Which involves us specifically.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Anybody else have anything else?
No, we just exec session, right?
Okay, then I make a motion that we close the meeting and go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.